welcome to the Good Share Podcast with Ryan and Ice. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ice.
All right. So, it's been a few days. This time, honestly, it's been,
what, over a week? Did we even do one last week?
yeah, we did.
Is that when we did the short list? Okay. That feels like forever ago already.
Right.
Which I guess when this comes out, a short list episode will have already come out, so people will know what we're talking about.
More than likely.
Yeah. If not, stay tuned for a short list.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least one will have come out probably.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, man. That's good to see you.
Yeah, you too, buddy. We haven't really, in between now and then, we haven't really conversed much.
Not a whole lot, man. Well, I mean, I guess that's...
It's so weird.
It is
like
weird.
When we get on the phone, we used to just
talk forever.
Spill our guts. But now I feel like both of us are being a bit conscientious of what we're talking about.
Well, it's like, because there'll be times where we do talk for a while and then we're like, man, we should have just done a podcast. Because so now I just feel like I want to save all the... I don't want to talk to you for an hour and a half. I mean, I do, but I don't want to talk to you for an hour and a half and then be like, well, dang it, why weren't we just recording all that? Like,
right.
Of course, now when we have to do an episode, we won't be able to think of anything to talk about. But, well, I mean, I was just going to say, I think that as much as it sucks that we haven't been able to talk to each other more or done more episodes lately, at least in my case, that is an indication of the fact that I'm actually busy. I'm like working while I'm actually playing gigs again. So
that's great.
Yay for work. And I mean, I know you've been busy like doing related things, which you doing that work means the people you're doing that work for are playing more. So it's good for everybody involved. So
my goodness. Yeah. So like I do all the back end site development for several different artists. And one of them, I also manage the input of the dates for the calendar. And I'm telling you, man, looking at this year's list compared to last, it's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, last year probably had like 10 dates.
Maybe. I mean, so many cancellations and and this year it's just absolutely, I mean, it's just blowing up all over the place. It's good. Oh, did they change mask mandates or requirements or anything in your state down there?
I should know. State-wise, I don't know. I know that Hendersonville lifted theirs, so it's at it's at the discretion of businesses. I think Nashville might have too, because like I think it was this past Friday. Like I think everything was lifted, because I heard from friends that like Broadway was just absolutely bonkers. Yeah. So
that's what's going to happen, man.
But I have noticed like certain places that I frequent, which are, like Home Depot and Kroger, there are no signs on the doors anymore.
I noticed that too at our Home Depot.
Like I always take my mask with me just because I'm vaccinated, so whatever. But like, if a business really feels that strongly about it, like I'm not gonna make a big deal about it. Like, and I also don't want to get like stank eye from somebody and then have to explain like, well, I'm vaccinated. You know what I mean? Like if I'm just running in and out real quick, I'm just gonna throw it on. Whatever, that's fine. But yeah, like yesterday was the first day in almost a year that I went to Kroger. And I totally had a habit, put my mask on, and then about a third of the way through the store, I was like, oh yeah, I don't need this. And there were like a bunch of other people not wearing theirs, which I don't know if they are knuckle draggers who just don't think that it's real and don't believe in science and haven't been vaccinated and whatever. But like, I'm assuming most of them probably have been vaccinated, but I've been vaccinated. So like, I'm not really that worried about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was so funny how like liberating it felt to like go through the grocery store and not have a mask on.
Yeah.
Like it was bonkers. I never thought something like that would feel that way.
Or affect you like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So that's what happened this week. Governor basically said, follow what CDC says.
Oh, in Ohio? Okay. Yeah.
Which is, man. Okay, so I'm not like anti. I think I'm very logical. I think you know that about me.
Yeah.
And but the governor last week said we're gonna lift it for anyone vaccinated.
Right.
And this was 24 hours before the CDC announced anything.
Okay.
But then he not only him, but there were other governors in the United States,
Sure.
basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Said enough's enough. Let's, people that are being vaccinated there should be something different, right? Because like you said, the science says that if you're vaccinated, the likelihood of you carrying anything is so minuscule.
Yeah.
Right. It could happen with a mask or without a mask at that point.
Right.
So the governor here, DeWine, said, this is what we're gonna do. So then the CDC the very next day, or I think it was the next day or the day after that, said, "Oh, okay, man, it's just been crazy."
You know what I think? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Plus, the other thing is I looked up the statistics, and there have been, I think, 180 million worldwide confirmed cases.
Okay.
Give or take.
Yeah.
It may be in 160 or 180. We're just going to go on the. I'll go on the low side. We'll go on the low side.
Okay.
Say 160 million. And out of that 160 million, there have been 3.8. We'll just say 4 million deaths. Out of that 160 million, there's been 4 million.
There been that many, actually? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was that high.
Related.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But we'll just say
yeah,
the related, right? Because there's this big gray area about related.
Sure. Right.
So we'll just say that they're 100% on par with that. Andrea signed up for a thing where they donate blood, and then you get checked, and you see if you got antigens.
Yeah.
That way, if you tested positive or whatever, right?
Yeah.
She didn't get selected out of that group.
Okay.
But she wound up getting the results of that group's test, or the grouping test. And you know what that came back at? For every one person that tested positive, 4 had it and didn't know it.
Oh, wow.
So you take 160 times 4. That's how many cases we've had. 640 million. But we've only had 4 million. So you know what that is? That's less deaths than the flu.
Right.
By 0.2, I think it's by 0.2% or 3%. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, when you look at the numbers like that and you think about it a little bit, yes, the flu sucks, but, and I'm not saying the flu, no big deal.
Well, when the flu started, it was just like this, though. Like,
yes, it was.
We had no vaccine, and people croaking right and left.
100%, and it was devastating.
Yeah.
Right, and it still is, because hundreds of thousands of people die every year from the flu.
Right.
Every year. Why don't we hear about?
Right.
Well, we still hear about get your flu shot, right? Get your flu. It's the boosters, right? It's the boosters.
Yeah.
Well, the reason is because humans have found an acceptable number of deaths.
Oh yeah, well, it's like that for anything,
right?
It's just like. Well, I mean, I don't want to go down this forever because I don't want to make this podcast super, which I hate that, like, just talking about science you have to say, I don't want to be political. Like
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't be, but it's like that line in Dark Knight where the Joker is talking to
Harvey.
Harvey, thank you. Harvey Dent, when he's in the hospital bed and he's like, if a truckload of soldiers dies tomorrow in combat, like nobody bats an eye because it's just expected.
It's
But I forget what he says, but then he's like, but if I go kill 2 people or something, like it's like this big deal.
Right.
Oh, sorry. My headphones came unplugged. Ah, dang it. Yeah, well, and I think, part of it is like COVID was like this new thing and like
anything new scary.
And I'm not saying it wasn't serious. I took it serious. I wanted to get back to work as quickly as possible. So I took it as serious as I could. Like I was masked up all the time. I wasn't hanging out. I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm not a fucking knuckle dragger that doesn't believe in science. Like,
yeah.
The thing that
I masked up as well, and it wasn't because I was afraid of getting it. It's not that. I don't want to get sick.
Sure.
But it was, and I still will mask up if same kind of thing where you go out of respect for everyone else.
Yeah, that's my thing, because it's like, and I don't want society to get to this point. But it is interesting where it's like, they're lifting mask mandates for people that are vaccinated. Well, it's like, well, how do I know if someone is vaccinated or not?
Yeah.
And honestly, like if I'm vaccinated and I buy the science of it, then yeah, even if they're not and they're around me and they have it, like the chances of me getting it or carrying it or whatever are pretty slim. But it's like, I also don't want to live in a world where I have to like have a card everywhere I go showing, like, I don't want that. That's fucking bullshit. Like that's some futuristic shit that I don't want to be a part of. But like, but it's like, well, I mean, I guess at a certain point I'm vaccinated. So there's very little chance that I can get it or give it to somebody else, like carry it or whatever. So if other people want to take the risk of getting it, and maybe it won't affect them, but maybe they have an old grandmother or something who wants to get vaccinated but can't, and then they give it to her and she dies or whatever. Like that's really sad, but you're the dumbass that decided not to believe it was real. So you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
But yeah, all that to say, like I'm the same way. Like I if I'm running in and out of a place and they have a sign on the door that says masks required, I'll just throw it on real quick because I don't want to. I'm not trying to cause a scene. I'm not trying to be like some like protester. Like, oh, I got the vaccine. It's my human right. Like if I'm just running in to fucking grab a bottle of water or something. Like
right.
Who cares?
Who's got time?
Yeah.
The people that act that way have time for that shit because they got nothing else.
Right, because they don't have anything to do. It's whatever. So shifting gears.
Yeah.
I got to talk about this real quick.
Okay.
Because it baffles me.
Okay.
And this is a hard left turn. This is not related to that.
That is 100% fine because we're just loose today.
Yeah.
We're loose.
This happened to me while I was walking Lloyd right before you called me actually this morning.
Okay.
And then I was like, man, that's like the third time this happened in a month. And it's going to sound like I'm coming across real judgy or like I think these people are idiots. I don't think that at all. It's just puzzling to me. But today, someone stopped as I was walking Lloyd, and they're like waving me down. And I thought they just recognized me or something, like someone I didn't know from the neighborhood. So I waved, but then she put their window down.
Okay.
And she's like, can you help me? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess, sure. And she's like, I am so lost. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, where are you trying to get to? I'm like, I'm trying to get to the Home Depot and the Walmart. And I said, oh, okay. Well, just go down here, turn left at this light, and then turn right on Anderson. The Walmart's on your right, and the Home Depot's on your left. Like, that's the third time in seriously, like at least 5 weeks that someone, while I'm walking Lloyd, has stopped and asked me for directions. And these are not like super old people. I mean, the lady today was probably like in her 50s, maybe
Okay.
60s. But like, why that's puzzling to me is like everyone has a smartphone with a map app. Like,
Yeah.
you really have to try to get lost these days. Or I mean, even if you get lost, that's fine. Like, but you have like, how do you not just pull into a parking lot and put in where you're trying to get to, and then
Because
follow
they
that?
don't know how to use that technology.
I refuse to believe that. The one person that asked me was a girl that was like younger than me. And I'm sorry, if my mom knows how to use the map app on her phone, then somebody who's like in their early 30s or late 20s can do it easily.
Listen.
I mean, I bet you Ella just turned 5. I bet you if she really had to, she could figure out how to use the voice command and say like where she wanted to go. She wouldn't be able to like follow it or anything, but like, I mean, she would be able to put in a destination. It sounds like I'm like railing on like, oh, you guys are stupid. But it's like baffling. I mean, I guess maybe they don't have a smartphone.
Possible.
But it's like-
possible they have a track phone or something.
But
Possible.
even then, like those like pay per month phones or whatever, you can still get a smartphone on those plans, can't you? Like,
You can, but then, So I had something similar happen, but this was actually the exact same thing, except it was one extra element to it, right?
okay.
This
Yeah, we're not even in Coshocton.
we're not even shocked in that. There was this older guy driving an old pickup truck down my street, and he was going about maybe doing every bit of 10 miles an hour.
Okay.
And I saw him, and he looked like they would if you're lost.
You just know. Yeah.
Yep, because they're looking around and they're trying to make as much eye contact with you as
Yeah,
possible, hoping that maybe you give them a glimpse of, I'll help you if you just stop.
Right.
So the guy sees me. I'm out mowing my grass, and he stops. I thought he was going to pull in the driveway, and I was standing over there like, come on, you can pull in my driveway. It's fine. But he doesn't. He just stops on the road.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm looking for 12, don't remember the number, 1223. And I said, well, this is, I told him my house number, and I said, I think it's going to be down here on your left, possibly. He's like, oh, okay. And he holds up a piece of paper, and I shit you not.
He had MapQuest. didn't he?
It was either a MapQuest, printed out MapQuest, or it was a printed out Yahoo Maps or something.
Wow.
And I was just, and he's like, maybe I'll give him a call. And he pulls up his phone, and I'll be damned, it was a smartphone.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. It was a smartphone.
Wow.
And I'm just thinking, you can just say, hey,
Yeah.
either Siri or Google.
Yeah.
And ask it to take you to that destination, and it's gonna do that for you.
Right.
But you could tell this guy, he wasn't operating on all cylinders.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Well, and like I'm sitting here thinking, the lady that stopped me today, her vehicle, it was like a newer, like smaller SUV, but I'm thinking about like, I'm pretty sure her dash had like built in, like I'm sure it had a GPS guidance system built in. Like it had like a touch screen in the center console. Like, so even if you don't have a
If
phone,
it had a touchscreen, it definitely has some type of mapping
so even
system
if you
in it.
don't have a phone, it's in your car. Like it was just like, it's very puzzling. I thought about that the entire walk. Like, I mean, unless you're somewhere where, because I've definitely had this happen where your phone takes you to where it thinks this destination is, and you follow it to a T, and it'll say like, arrived and you're like, I'm in the middle of an open field or whatever. Like, it's not exactly where it should be. Well, then, yeah, sure. You got to ask somebody. But like, how often does that happen?
Not often.
Compared to how many times you use it, like sometimes I'll use it even if I know where I'm going, because it'll take me I might not pick the fastest route, but it's going to show me, hey, there's less traffic or there's construction.
Right.
So
there's a wreck. It just happened and everybody stopped up here at this intersection.
Anyway, so it was just funny. And I almost wonder if people like in certain cases just do it because maybe there's a deeper issue. Like they really just need to have a social moment with somebody. I mean, you never know what somebody's going through or whatever.
That's 100%.
I don't know.
True.
And like I said, I'm not making fun of them or anything like that. It's just puzzling to me. Like it's just very, very, very strange. It's like you could literally pull up your phone or just get on your car GPS and because then like I'm not good at giving directions because I can get to a lot of places. I am not a street name person. I am a landmark person.
I am the same way. Yeah.
Like, I mean, over the years, I've learned different street names and stuff, but like, when I think in terms of how to get to a place, I think of like, oh, turn left or turn right or go through this light. And it's very difficult for me to actually remember like what the cross streets are or like what street you're turning on. But I can tell you like, well, there's a Lowe's on the corner or there's like there's a Fifth Third Bank or a Shell station. Yep. But I could tell when I was giving her directions, I actually told her street names and stuff and she looked very confused. So I had to say it like 3 times. And it was a really easy thing. It was like, okay, you're just going to go back out the way you came. You're going to turn left at that light. Mm-hmm. And then the very next light is Anderson. You're going to turn right there. Like, I mean,
you're right into it.
It doesn't get, that's 2 turns. Like it doesn't get simpler than that. Left and then a right.
A left and a right.
And she was like, she just looked very, but who knows? Maybe she's going through something. I don't know. But
right. Maybe she just killed her husband. I don't know. Needs to get to Lowe's to get a shovel.
Need a bunch of tarp and
lime.
Remember that? When was that when we were building the studio? Or was that
we knocked that wall out? Oh, you're talking about Nashville.
Yeah.
You're talking about Nashville.
Because we went to Home Depot and we bought like a whole bunch of
right.
I don't know what we were doing.
Yeah, we got plastic because we didn't.
Was that for your house or for my studio?
We didn't get the spray foam on your new stained concrete.
On the floor. That's right. Yes, we got a bunch of rolls of plastic sheeting and like a bunch of duct tape and like I don't know if anyone
that foam worked out so good.
Great. Yeah, we need to do an episode about building that place.
About that build.
Yeah,
because we got pictures.
Yeah, but I don't know if anyone's ever watched Dexter, but like all the stuff we were buying was literally
a kill room.
Yeah, and like we were being really like weird about it on purpose, and the checkout lady was like, "What are you guys doing?" And you were like, "Making a big mess." And you said something else that like made it seem very obvious, like, oh, there's going to be a lot of blood. But you didn't say it like that. But
no, I didn't.
And she just she's like ringing stuff up and looking at, and like I didn't say anything, and we were really like stone faced. It was pretty amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna make a big mess and then clean it up.
Yeah. You said something like, hopefully this keeps it from running everywhere. So like something like, and you said it just like that, like real monotone. And I was like looking around, like I was trying to act like, oh no, nobody see.
Nobody's watching what was going on.
Anyway,
super inconspicuous we are.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So I was like, oh, that's so puzzling to me. Like, I almost wanted to get my phone out and like do it for her and be like, well, see, do you have one of these? Let me show. I'll put it in there for you. Like,
watch how this works.
Yeah. This
pretty
thing,
awesome.
Look what I got, motherfucker. This thing is useful. Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
Mitch Hedberg, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Man. So, well, let's catch up. because you know what? I'm going to share my news first because your news is way cooler.
Oh goodness. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this portion we're about to enter is our catch up on progress.
On progress.
right?
Yeah, catch up on
Yeah.
progress.
And did we never discussed? No, we never discussed the revamp of your.
No, we haven't yet.
Okay.
Which that's something I was going to talk about because I haven't done it in 2 days.
Let's
but-
get stuck in.
Okay. So, well, my update is for those of you that don't know or don't remember or just don't care. Back at the beginning of April or the end of March, I guess, Ryan and I we were both wanting to lose about 15 pounds.
Yeah, we were both setting around 230.
Yeah, and you know, I had formerly been like 210 for a long time. Well, for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And you were probably. How much do you think you weighed like when I first met you?
When you first met me,
Yeah, like all those years ago.
I may have been 200 pound.
Really, you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I set like for a long time, like
Because
through high school.
you've always
the heavy,
been like,
yeah, kind of stocky.
yeah.
So through high school, I never broke 185. Like
Okay.
I've set it 185 since 7th grade.
Okay.
And then when I hit my 20s, I got mono.
Oh
And
yeah.
I lost a tremendous amount of weight. I went to 160. Yeah, I got super sick. And then after that, I started slow. That's why
yeah.
I'm saying like maybe 200
Okay.
because it took me a while to get my weight. I lost so much muscle.
Well, dude, I knew you before you had mono though. Didn't you have it before Timmy? Because isn't that when you got Lily? Is when you had mono?
No, that was a different sickness.
Oh, okay. Never
Yeah,
mind.
but not you. Just after I recovered.
It's like when we did that Battle of the Bands thing and I met you. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
Because just to put the timeline in perspective,
Yeah.
I went to Andrea's senior homecoming just a week after I recovered.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then.
And you should, dude. I've got a picture.
Are you just like that big?
I'm all bones.
Oh, that's amazing. I've never seen you look like that. That's amazing.
I'll have to take a picture and send it to you.
Yeah.
We'll pop it up here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I had been like, 210 for a good year or whatever. And then last year happened and yeah, I stepped on a scale at some point early this year. I was like, oh, 230, huh? That's terrible. And then you said you were like about the same. So I was like, well, let's just, anyway, that's the story. We're both trying to get down about 15 pounds before June
Yeah, I was
1st.
super disgusted with myself I started getting, man, my stomach started getting so big.
I don't want to hear it.
I was so disgusted.
Whatever. So anyway.
I'm serious though.
Yeah, but you have,
Can you see how much thinner
dude,
my
I
face
was gonna tell you, yeah. Here's the thing though, you've always had like a muscular gut. You're like Jack Black. I mean, he's way bigger than you, but like,
Well, thanks.
no. But like, if you look at Jack Black, right? Like, he is not like he has a gut. He's definitely like a gut person, but
Yeah,
it's
well,
not.
there's
It's,
Jack Black, and then the contrast would be Chris Farley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like even when you're at your biggest, so you had a gut like Jack Black has like a very firm muscular gut. Chris Farley is like what I was like. It's like hanging over your belt. It's very like flabby. Like, I mean, it's dumb to say, but there's a difference.
There is. Yes.
Like, so like, and the other flip side is if I could freaking do pull-ups, I'd be okay with having a tiny gut. Like, cause it'd be like, well, I'm still really strong. So eat it, like, but
yeah.
anyway, so all that to say, like we haven't done an update in probably two or 3 weeks.
We kind of laid off because we were getting pretty hot and heavy on it. And I think,
Well, and then we started talking about some other topics and then we just haven't done like a full length podcast in a while, but
Yeah. But a lot of time has gone by since, so.
Yeah, I think the last time we did an update, I was still sitting at like 223 or 222. And
yes,
dude, I had plateaued there. I had been there for like 3 weeks.
I know.
3 weeks.
It was a struggle.
Here's what's really interesting. Not just this past weekend, but the weekend before, we did 2 David shows in Boca Raton, Florida. Okay. And it wasn't the greatest weekend as far as working out and or food because the hotel we were in didn't have a gym.
Oh, bummer.
And we flew in like on a Thursday night. So Friday morning, I was like, well, I'll just get up early and go run. But 2 things happened. First of all, I didn't drink near enough water the day before. So I started running and immediately was like, oh, I have such a terrible headache. Every step I took, the headache got worse. But the other problem is that, I mean, Boca's right on the coast. Like our hotel was like on the beach, which I was all excited because there was like a path that went along, what's it, A1A.
Oh,
so it's like, you know, there's like that road and a bunch of hotels on the beach, but there's like a nice greenway along A1A forever.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, I had looked at my map and I was like, oh, if I run up to this bridge, that's like almost 2 miles. So I'll run there and back. It'll be like a nice 4-mile run. That should take me like 40, 45 minutes, like depending on my pace. It'd be great. Dude, it was so freaking humid. And it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't even like I waited till 11. It was 8 o'clock and it was so humid. And my headache, I got like a mile out and I was like, F this. And I literally stopped. Like I looked at my watch because, you know, it's GPS in me.
Yep.
And when it hit a mile, I literally stopped, turned around, and I walked for like 5 minutes and then ran the rest of the way. And I got 2 miles and I was like soaked. My head, I thought my temples were going to explode. My head was pounding. I had such a headache. And I was like, this is freaking awful. And so then, so that sucked. Now, I will say the next day, I didn't try and run, but I walked that greenway. I just walked. I got out there at like 7:30, maybe it was like at 8 o'clock. But dude, I walked like 7.5 miles. So it was like a nice long walk.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's not the same intensity as running, but I was like, I got to do something because the day before.
Did you feel better?
I felt better, but like the day before, for like lunch or brunch or whatever, Reed and I and Nick, our TM, we found this place called. Oh yeah, bless you.
Thank you.
Found this place called Dandy Donuts.
Oh,
which was a donut place, but also like a diner.
God, dude.
Like a diner joint.
I've been craving freaking donut for 3. Sorry, I've been craving a Long John donut for like 3 weeks.
Just go get one.
Well, that's the thing. As I've been did what you said on the one podcast. You know, just because you want one now,
right?
Wait,
oh, right, yeah,
right. So I've been waiting.
Well, that's all. That's a lot.
And I still want one.
Well, look, you're still alive, so that's good. But
Dandy Donuts.
Yeah, and the part of the appeal was like they had like a full breakfast menu too. Like you could get like omelets and eggs and all kinds of stuff. So we were like, well, that'll be good, and we'll get a couple donuts. Well, I got a couple donuts for Peter that I was taken back to the hotel, but in my box were.
Oh, for Peter?
No, they were for Peter because they weren't.
Air quotes, by the way.
No, because he didn't come with us. He was like, well, if they have these 2, I want these 2. And I was like, okay. But I got a box of 6, so there were 4 donuts that I ate. Which yeah. Plus I had like an omelet and home fries and the omelet. The omelet was freaking amazing.
You loaded up
3-egg omelet with sausage, bacon, and ham and cheese and onions and peppers. It was. And
I'm not for you, man.
No. But all that to say,
I mean, it is
no. Well, here's what happened though. So did that, and then the next day I walked, and on Saturday I was much better about like I didn't eat stupid shit. Like I stayed in a caloric deficit, and
Well, how
And
much
I had
were you
that-
over that day?
Oh, I gave up even trying to track it. Like, well, yeah, because here's the best part. Here's the best part. So Reed and Nick and I went for like brunch or whatever. Well, then after the show, because Danny,
This was the day you had that breakfast.
yeah, this was Friday. This was the first day.
Okay.
So we played the show Friday night, and we were playing the same place both nights. So we were just there the entire weekend. Shout out to the Funky Biscuit. Super cool venue down there. It was awesome.
The Funky Biscuit.
Yeah. Anyway, so we play the show, and of course, like David's hungry. And he's like, let's go to that Dandy Donut place. I haven't gone. Well, I mean, just might as well shoot me in the freaking head.
Double header?
So Friday night at like 11,
Oh my God.
I got a bag of 3 donuts and a chocolate milk.
Are you shitting me?
And I just, well, listen, I'm being transparent because, I talk a lot about, hey, this is what you got to do if you want to lose weight or whatever. I am not going to pretend that I don't have days or weeks where I struggle.
Right on.
Like, I am not perfect all the time. It's hard, man. And it's a perfect example of, it was just social eating. Did I want those donuts after the show? No, I hadn't even thought about it. But as soon as David said, let's go, and then everyone else is going to get 1 or 2 or whatever, it's like, well, yeah, this sound pretty good. They were really good earlier. I'll get that one. I'll try this one because I didn't have it earlier. And so I got a bag of 3 donuts and a chocolate milk. I go back to our hotel. I pound them all, drink the milk. And then what do? Fucking go to bed. Like, that's the worst. I mean, the worst. I haven't done that in so long. And let me tell you something. I slept like shit. And I felt, that's one of the reasons I went on the walk the next day, because I felt
you woke
terrible.
up feeling rough.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I've never been hungover, but I can imagine I felt that pretty close to that. Like, it was terrible. And I was like, I was pissed. Like, emotionally, I was pissed at myself, and I was playing this whole mental thing. And dude, like, my resting heart rate was like 44. And I woke up that morning, and after Fitbit, I log into the app, and it had jumped 3. It was like 47, because that's how shitty I slept, and I had so much sugar coursing through my body all night. Like, I could tell, like, there was a difference. Like, a lot of times when I go to bed, if I just lay still, dude, my heart rate can get really low to where it feels like this like pulsing wave every time it pumps.
Wow.
Right. And I'll check it. It'll say like 41 or 4. It'll be like, oh, okay. But that night, it stayed like, at least until I fell asleep, it stayed around like 60, 58. And I could like feel it. And I was like, oh, you're such a fucking idiot. He's like, why? Like, it's a perfect example of like, oh yeah, those donuts are really good for the 5 minutes that it took me to eat them. But how long am I going to pay for this? Because it's already like, well, I can't go have a hard workout tomorrow, which you should never do this. Working out should never be a punishment for what you ate the day before. It should be a celebration of what your body can do. But I couldn't even get that redemption in the morning of like, okay, well, I ate a bunch of shit, but I'm going to hit the gym hard for 2 hours in the morning and whatever. Like, all I could do was walk, which is fine. I've talked about how good walking is, but it's like, that isn't going to undo I bet that whole day was probably close to 5,000 calories, if not more.
Jeez Louise.
That's why I quit logging at one
the
point.
donuts alone would at least be 250 minimum.
Yeah, 2,500 for sure. Yeah. And then chocolate milk and all that stuff. So that was so then Saturday I took the long walk. I stayed fasted for a really long time until after sound check. And then had like a light lunch, and then had like a bigger dinner, but I was still only at like 1,700 calories by the end of the day. And I still had to play a show, then Saturday or then Sunday morning we flew home, so I didn't get like a workout then or anything. But all that to say, I came home, and then like Monday and Tuesday were really good last week. Mm-hmm. And then, dude, I don't know and I'm not saying this because I am not belittling this or anything, and I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm really just saying it because I think men go through it too, but I don't know if I was like on my period or what. But like, I woke up Wednesday and I was like really, really down and like not feeling good. So like I dropped the kids off, and I remember I had workout gear on because normally I drop them off and go straight to the gym. And I didn't even pull into the parking lot. I just came home. I didn't even walk Lloyd. Like
Wow.
I didn't feel like doing anything. I did manage to mow the yard. So I got like a little bit of moderate exercise there. But then Thursday was the same way.
But did you feel just slightly better? Slightly.
I woke up and I took the kids to school, and then I did walk Lloyd, but I didn't do any kind of running or anything. But then I went to Damon, and he asked me how I was doing and if I was sore from the workout on Monday, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sore. Like my legs are pretty sore. And he goes, well, that's good. He's like, I didn't know if, that might have been from like, you doing incline sprints or all that stuff now. I said, well, it probably would be if I'd been doing them, but I haven't done them in like 2 days. Said I'm kind of having a shitty week. And he was like, oh, okay, well, that happens. Well, we'll see if we can turn it around. And so then like I had a really hard workout Thursday, but then even like as better as I felt after that, I still was just like, I don't know. I mean, I was having some issues.
Blah.
Yeah. I was like really missing my dad, and I was having some other things going on, and it was just like really tough. But then Friday, woke up, got the kids off to school, went to the gym, and ran 10 miles. Like sometimes you just know, like I can get on the treadmill and I can just tell like, oh, this is today. I should probably run for distance because this feels really easy. Like I'm at my normal pace, and like I'm not breathing hard. My legs don't feel heavy. Like I was cruising, and I got to like 6.5 miles, and I was like, no, we're just going to go for 10. And that's probably the first time all year this year that I have run 10 miles like in one sitting.
In one whack.
Yeah. And man, it felt really good. And that kind of then turned it around because I ran those 10, and then I came home and walked Lloyd, and we did our normal like 3.5. So it was like a 13+ mile day. And then all of a sudden it was like whatever was bogging me down had kind of been lifted, and I felt much better about stuff. And then Saturday I had a downtown band gig, a wedding gig in Cincinnati, so I didn't get a workout then. And then Sunday we didn't get home till like 1, so it was a lot of sitting in the van. But I ate really, really good on Saturday. And same on Sunday. I was like in a deficit of like 600 calories both days. And Saturday I didn't work out or anything, but I did play drums for like 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And like set up and push cases and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then Sunday, like I didn't eat breakfast because I was like, well, I'm just going to sit in a van. What do I need to eat anything for? I don't need any energy. Like,
sure.
So I didn't eat until I got home, which is about 2:00 or whatever. And then dude, Damon kicked my freaking ass yesterday.
Yeah.
Probably the hardest workout I've had since I've gone back to him. Like my legs were unbelievably jello. And I ran 7 miles and walked Lloyd 2. And then today I just ran 7, and Lloyd and I did our 3.5. Well, I ran 7.5, and then Lloyd and I did our 3.5. So all that to say, yes, I have started a new workout plan. I just haven't done it the last couple days. But yeah, I talked to Damon 2 weeks ago, I guess now. And I kind of told him, I was like, yeah, look, man, I stepped on the scale and I'm like 223, and I'm not that bothered by it. Like, it's fine. I don't mind weighing 223. I said, what I mind is that I don't look the way I want to look.
You want to tone up.
Like, if I'm going to be 223, then there's I want my body composition to be different.
Yep.
Which he's like, yeah. And so,
and for the size that you are,
he's
your
like
height and your bone structure, like, it should be.
Yeah, he's like, you should not be trying to be like 205. He's like, like if you want to look the way you look and put on the kind of muscle like to look that way, you're not going to be too. He's like you'd have to be so lean, to be that and sell the muscle you want. Like it wouldn't be sustainable,
and it'd be miserable. It would be miserable.
Yeah. Because I mean, if that's one thing, if you're like a bodybuilder and you're like prepping for a show, because you can sustain that for like a month.
Yeah.
And get down to like, I'll be like 4% body fat and I'll weigh 200 pounds. But it's like nobody wants to live like that all year round.
No, not even those guys that do that.
No, I mean, they go through phases where they bulk and then they cut and then they bulk and then they cut.
And I've seen pictures of their off season and it's pretty.
They look like a different person, man.
They look totally different dude. Totally different person. So anyway,
we had a long conversation about like, I asked him, do you think I'm doing too much cardio? And I kind of told him what I do. And he was like, he's like, well, short answer, yes. He's like, but I hesitate to say that because I know that you love running for more than just like the physical part of it. And I was like, yeah, but I also like, I want to, there are goals that I want.
Yeah. So, and you don't want doing that to hinder
what I'm doing with Damon. Like, and I asked him, I said, do you think I'm doing so much cardio that it's like inhibiting what I'm achieving with you? He's like, I don't think it's inhibiting, but it might be slowing the process. You might put on muscle a little faster if you're not trying to run 10 miles every day. And he told me, he's like, if you want to do that like one day a week where you have like, you do like an 8 or 10 mile run, that's fine. He's like, but, and other things he talked about as far as, he's like, if you have a punching bag, do a bunch of rounds on the punching bag. Like that's still cardio. It's just not using your legs. Or like another thing we talked about is like, well, I told him about the workout that I did that we showed on here, in my driveway.
Yeah.
Like doing that kind of thing. And he was like, yeah, that's like another great thing because you're incorporating weightlifting with your conditioning and you're mixing up your conditioning. Because I was like sprinting down and then backpedaling and sprinting down back and doing that. And then I would do a bunch of like weight things like resistance training and then jump rope for a minute and then repeat that whole thing like 3 times.
Right.
Which is like, that's kind of the stuff we do with him, but it's obviously way more varied and way more intense because he has way more stuff and contractions.
Sure.
But, so we talked about all that. And then we talked about nutrition, like a lot. And he's like, honestly, he's like, if this is really, and I showed him kind of like an example of like a day of eating. He's like, this is really how you eat. Like your nutrition's pretty on point. So if you start to incorporate other stuff like this, instead of just running and whatever, like it's going to make more of a difference. But then I asked him, which is something we talked about, and it's not, none of this was like stuff I didn't know already, but it's always like reassuring to hear it from the guy that you're training with and not just watch like a YouTube video about it from somebody that you don't know.
Yeah, and this guy's watching your behavior, watching your growth and progress.
Exactly.
And knows your nutritional values.
Exactly. So I straight up asked him, I was like, okay, I know it's not a black and white issue, but now that you know what my goals are, if you could only pick one, which is more important, I said, I'm definitely going to take Lloyd on a walk every day that I can because he needs it. But, and I'm obviously still going to train with you 2 days a week. But outside of that, on my own, if nutrition is the same and it's good, what is more important, cardio or weights? And he was like, well, they're both, they both have their purpose. And I was like, well, I know that. And that's why I'm saying it's not black or white. But if you could only pick one and for what I'm trying to accomplish, he was like, then I would say weights.
Weight training.
So that's the other thing I'm going to try and do more of on the days that I don't see him is lift more. So
that's interesting because that's just kind of the opposite of me. Like I would much rather, I'll only, not that I'll only do this, but I would fall into that category where I would only do maybe once or twice do cardio.
Right. And you're lifting more. Well, and here's the thing. I think what happened is, and this is some like psychoanalyzation, but I think what happened is, when I was bigger and then I started losing all that weight, like then I didn't know, and probably wouldn't have even been as concerned about it. But like, I didn't realize that like, oh, I got so hooked on like running and cardio, and I would still do weight training every now and then. But after a while, it just became like, how many miles am I going to do today? And man, I had like 90 mile week and like all this
personal
stuff.
competition.
Yeah. And the scale was moving really quickly. You know, there'd be sometimes where I'd lose like 5 or 6 pounds in a week. But I didn't know that like, oh, I'm also probably, I'm losing some fat, but I'm probably chewing through some muscle too. And I think had I learned that at the time, maybe not, maybe I would have been too stubborn and too hooked on seeing the number on the scale move. But maybe had I learned that at the time, that like, yeah, but you're losing a lot of muscle. Like, you just want to lose fat. You want to keep your, like, there's no doubt in my mind that when I weighed 320 pounds, I was probably stronger on some lifts than I am now.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I just think I had, like, I don't think I could leg press 1,000 pounds and pound it out for like 12 reps like I did all those years ago when it was you and I.
Right.
And I was like, 290 then or whatever. Like, I'd lost some weight, but that felt, I remember
legs were used to carrying.
Exactly. You're carrying more weight anyway, so they're stronger.
Yeah.
And like running requires muscle, but it's a different muscle fiber than that.
Totally different. Yeah, totally different.
But I remember thinking like, what was that, 2010? I remember being like, yeah, we're going to work our way up to leg pressing 1,000 pounds, and we're going to try and get like 10 reps or whatever.
Half a ton. That was our thing.
And we both thought it was going to take us a while. And then like one day, it only been like a couple months. In one day, you just kept adding weight to the thing, and we kept doing it. And it was like, well, that was like 800. That felt like nothing. And then you throw like 4 more plates on there, and it's like, well, now we're, whatever that is. No, it's almost 1,000. And it was like, dude, this doesn't feel that hard. And we blasted out. I think I did like 12 or 15 reps of 1,000 pounds. There's no way I could do that now.
Huh.
Not at all. Not, I could probably do like 1 or 2, but it would be hard.
Wow.
So anyway, all that to say, I had been really frustrated because I had been stuck at 223, 222 for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yep.
But this morning, finally, well, yesterday I texted you, I stepped on the scale and I was 220. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I hadn't even been trying.
Right.
And then today I stepped on the scale. I was 218.
Yeah.
So not that that's really my goal, but I won't lie. There's a part of me, I still would like to get down to 210. I'm fighting that urge, but like I kind of still, but I want to do it the right way. Like I want to be 210, but here's the thing. Today, it's funny because this morning I was getting dressed and I was looking in the mirror in the bathroom, and I almost knew that I was going to be lighter than I was yesterday, because not that you can tell with the shirt on, but I can always, like, that's a place where I lean out first in a good way, because I could, like, my shoulders were capped a little bit more than normal.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think my shoulders are growing that much. I just think I'm losing some of the fat in my shoulders. Because I was like looking at my arms and I was like, oh, interesting. So I thought I would be like 220 or 219, but 218, I will.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Well, here's a performance change that I noticed yesterday. So the last thing in my workout yesterday with Damon, sorry, I realize I'm talking way too long. Well, I just looked at how long this podcast is, and I'm pretty sure I've talked the entire time. but the last thing we did yesterday, he's got like a squat machine, so it's not like a true squat rack.
Okay.
But I mean, it's still like everything about it is the same as squatting.
Right. The concept is all there.
Yeah. And he didn't have that much weight on there. I don't remember how much it was, but you had to squat, but it was slow on the way down
Okay.
and then explosive up. Slow on the way
Okay.
down, explosive up. Because, that time under tension when you're going down is like brutal.
It is.
And it was like, he was like, I want you to get at least 10. You might, I don't know if I have the weight set right. You might be able to get 15. So I do 15 because I'm like, well, I'm going to fucking do 15. It's not that heavy, But I didn't know what was in store for me next. So then he has this, he has like a recumbent bike
Okay.
that he'll have you get on immediately after. And then the thing about it is you have to start pedaling for it to power on, and you have to pedal really fast to get it to turn on. So then once you pedal hard enough that it turns on, he manually sets it and he puts the resistance up to 10, which I've never had the resistance that high before. Like the most I've done on that bike is like 6.
Okay.
And he's like 2 minutes, and he's like, we'll do it like a drop set. You keep pedaling, and then if you feel like you can't keep, then let me know and I'll back it down. Because if you stop pedaling and like for like more than 2 or 3 seconds, the bike turns off and you have to do the whole thing over again.
Oh my God.
So you just have to keep pedaling. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get like 20 seconds at 10. Dude, I did a minute at 10, and then he backed it down to like 9, 8, 7, I think, for the second minute. But I was kind of pissed. And he's like, well, guess what? We're going to do it all again. So, and I was pissed because I didn't know, I'm like pounding out these 15 slow squats thinking, oh, cool. This is like the end of the workout. I didn't know I was going to have to do that. Dude, your quads are fucking burning after that.
Yeah.
So then I do 15 more. And this time I'm like fired up. He's like, you going to try and go longer at 10? I said, I think I said, I'm just going to try to get like a minute 15. Like I had another 15 seconds. Dude, I went the whole 2 minutes and he never touched the bike at 10.
Wow.
And I was like dead sprinting the entire time. Like I was like pissed. Cause he started to back it down. Or he reached and he's like, you gonna go the whole 2 minutes? I was like, yeah, man. I'm like under my, I'm like, yeah, man, get your hand away. I'm like pedaling. I probably didn't even sound that cool saying it, but I'm like slapping.
Slap.
But dude, I just like sprinted my ass off on that bike at 10. And 10, I mean, it feels like you're like puddling in mud that's like has cement drying in it or something.
Oh my God.
It was terrible. So, but all that to say, like, I think that is a result of some of those type 2 muscle fibers in my legs from doing the incline sprints.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like great, but I think they are getting a little stronger. Like I was able to sustain a longer period of time with those type 2, like your quick twitch muscle fibers under more tension. Because the way that works is like they type 2 muscle fibers, the quick twitch ones are like built for like short bursts of really high intensity.
Mm-hmm.
And your type 1, your slow twitch, they're more for like what I use when I run every day. Like long periods of like moderate intensity.
Right.
But the more you can train your type 2 fibers to get stronger, the longer those short bursts of intensity can be. So I don't know. I was like, well, I guess those incline sprints really are paying off.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway,
that could very well be a big reason why the weight had come off. Those 3-4 pounds.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it is like, or
the donuts, one or the other.
Definitely not the donuts, which that was over a week ago. But it is funny how like, I don't know how much of those, like that Wednesday and Thursday that I didn't do anything. I don't know how much of that was my body just being like, hey, because I wasn't physically feeling like I couldn't do it. I was emotionally feeling like I couldn't even exist. Like it was just like, it was tough to have motivation to do anything.
Yeah. That's weird because last week I had the same thing, but it was Tuesday, Wednesday.
Interesting.
Yep. Tuesday was hard, man. Yeah. I had a rough day Tuesday. I don't remember if I did anything. I think I did actually go walk where you mowed, right?
That's what I did on Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So my Tuesday was your Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I actually just went on a walk by myself in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I was only gone for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I felt shitty, and I didn't feel like, lifting any. I knew that I didn't have it in me to do any of that.
Yeah.
But I also felt like if I didn't go do something, that it was just gonna maybe get worse.
Yeah.
Like I should do something, that way I feel like I completed something. I didn't have to mow, or I probably would have done that.
Well, and that's what I hate about it. Like, normally I'm pretty good about that, but I would say a couple times a year, it's like bad enough that it's like, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. And I hate it. Like, I hate that it affects every other part of my day and like all the interactions I have with everybody else in my life. But it's like, it's really, sometimes it just really feels beyond my control. So then I just have to give in and just let it kind of be that way. It's not fun. It's like the part of my personality I like the least.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting
Well,
because...
I mean, I don't even like it. It's the part of my personality I hate the most.
I hate the most.
Is a better way of saying it.
Even though I felt like the way you were describing it was pretty much hit the nail on the head. I kept reflecting back to my really bad depression, my severe bad, and I was like, well, at least I'm not thinking about any of that stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I don't feel good, right? You just don't feel good, and you don't really want to communicate with anybody.
Right.
Because it's extra work and it's energy that's just not available.
Yeah.
And
your temper's really short.
Oh yeah.
It's terrible. I hate it too, because
loud noises.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it also just seems like everything you do, like you're doing wrong. Like things you do. Like, I was putting Ethan into the car seat in the car on Thursday morning. I do that every morning, right? I freaking hit my head on the car door.
God.
It's just, I was like, it's like, what? I don't understand what's happening to me. There's something, but it's like you're just so mentally, and I think part of it was I didn't get great sleep Tuesday night or Wednesday night. That definitely affects how you're functioning. Yeah. But then on top of that, you're just so preoccupied with how shitty you're feeling that like you're dropping shit or whatever.
Or you'll go into one room and you're get there and you're like, why am I wasting my time? I now have to make another trip. And then you go back to get the thing and you stand there for 3 minutes, it seems like, going, do I need anything else here before I...
Right.
And then do I put my socks on here?
Yeah.
Or in the other...
Right. And I hate that my fuse will be so short, because when Ella Ethan's young enough, he's indifferent, but when Ella gets home from school, all she wants to do is see me and play with me, and it's just I can't even, I'm happy to see her, obviously I'm excited, but
sure,
it's really hard to muster anything beyond that, and it's I almost just want to come up here and be by myself. Yeah. But then if I do that, then I get even more pissed at myself, because it's well, now you're just avoiding your family, and it's this whole thing that just keeps snowballing, and you can't...
vicious cycle.
You can't get out from under it. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I had done a workout Wednesday morning because I told myself I need to do something, even if it's not completely the right thing.
Right.
So I did. It wasn't anything intense at all.
Yeah.
And I felt slightly better, but it wasn't until hours later.
Okay.
And I contributed the activity to that.
Sure.
And then the boys got home, and it was my cue for, whatever I'm, into at the moment, quitting time for Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of the day for Dad. No more work day. And so my youngest, Andrew, he's been doing chores and stuff, and I've been paying him, giving him allowance or whatever. Yeah. So he learns the value of money, and
sure.
Same for Jonathan. But Andrew seems very motivated.
Okay.
And it's an exciting thing for him, because he's the first thing he bought was a billfold.
Nice. That's awesome.
It's a really cool one. It's an Avengers Velcro billfold.
Nice.
Something I would totally own.
Yeah.
And so he bought that so he can put money in it.
Yeah.
And so after he bought it, of course, he didn't have much money to put in it.
Right.
So he's asked me, "Hey, Dad, what can I do?" And then I'm like, he's like, "How much will you pay me?" I said, "I'll give you $2 to do this." He's like, "Okay." So you go do it. So he's learned how to run the weed eater, and he'll weed eat the entire yard for $5.
And
now,
just to put it in perspective, how old is he?
7.
That's awesome.
Yep, he's gonna be 8 in July, and so he'll weed eat my entire yard for $5. And I give him all ones because it's about the amount of paper. Right. So then anyway, he has earned this money, and at school, one of the 4th grade classes, not Jonathan's, but another 4th grade class, was doing a fundraiser of some kind, and they're selling fidgets. You've seen this fidgets craze thing, the things that spin.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The fidget spinners, but then they have they're called fidget pops or poppets.
Okay.
And basically all it is a piece of silicone that's got bubbles, and you just push them and they pop from one side to the other, and they just sit there and mess with them and they fidget with them. And then there's a few other things. Anyway, so Jonathan's like, they're going to be selling fidgets, and here's a list of what we can buy. And Andrew's like, oh yeah, I want to pop it, because he's been wanting a fidget pop it for a while, but they're hard to find because it's a craze right now.
Yeah.
So, a fidget pop it is like $5. Now it's a little overpriced, but it is a school fundraiser, so whatever. And so he's just so proud. He's got his billfold out, and he's looking at the list of stuff, and he's like, okay, so I'm going to get that one, and I'm going to get this one, so I need $7. So he takes his money out, and he's counting all of his money. He's like, okay, there's $7. And so Jonathan's like, okay, I'll take this to my class, and I'll get you your stuff. And so he come home that evening, and man, it broke my heart. He came up to my office here, and he said, I said, did you get your pop-it today? He says, yeah. They ripped me off. And I'm like, what? And he holds this little flimsy, absolute garbage piece of plastic that's like, it just clicks,
Yeah.
And it was cut out. I mean, it couldn't have cost more than maybe 10 cents. I mean, it was absolute garbage. And then the fidget spinners wound up being like cardboard.
Oh, what?
It was a complete sham. So I was immediately just so pissed off because I'm like, they take advantage of these children that don't really know any better.
Right.
I get it. You have a fundraiser, and the idea is to make money, right, for the school, to better the school system in some form or fashion. And I'm all for it because my wife's an educator. Your wife's an educator, so we get it, and we're on board. But
exactly.
That is not acceptable. If you get a smaller thing that is the actual thing, okay. Yeah. But this was nowhere. I wish I had it here. I would show you. It would blow your mind how clear plastic, little bubble pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was. So he was like, he looked at me because he had spent $7.
Yeah.
On this piece of shit. Right. And he was almost tearing up, and I was like, oh God. So I said, dude, don't worry about it. I'm going to buy that from you. I'm going to buy that and your fidgets. So I gave him all his money back.
Nice.
And I was like, your mother and I will talk about this later. And because she's really good at writing emails.
Yeah. Yeah.
She knows exactly what to say. Yeah. That's her ballpark. Anyway. So I was like, you know what? Because you guys, because they handle all that stuff really well. They're not like rude or anything. I said, because you handle all that stuff really well, we're gonna go to the store and get you something. So I took them over to Target, and we wound up buying a set of remote control cars. One was a cop car, the other one was just a regular car, so they play cops and robbers. You know? So that day it cost me $47. Whoopty ding dong. But that was something that had just recently happened. I don't remember how I got into that exactly.
I don't either, but that was a really good story, though. I like it.
Yeah.
I think because we were just talking about.
Oh yeah.
Trying to deal with them when you feel like that.
Oh yes. So, and that was Wednesday. So it made me feel better.
Yeah.
Doing something like that made me feel better, but I was still slightly on edge.
Yeah.
And my oldest son, Jonathan, bless him, he just talks constantly.
Yeah.
And whenever you're going through that kind of thing.
Oh, dude,
it's exhausting.
It is. Well, I am like that when I'm not going through a phase like that. Like in the mornings.
Oh,
I am better at it now than I used to be because I've had to make myself. But I still like. If you want to have a conversation that consists of more than okay, then I'm not the person you want to talk to. Like
not in the morning.
And I'm not one of those like, oh, don't talk to me before I've had my coffee. I don't even drink coffee. I'm just not like, I get up at between 5:30 and 5:45 every morning. I am up, I'm awake, I'm functioning. That does not mean I want to have some life-altering decision-making conversation. Like,
yeah.
And my wife, who I love dearly, is like, she is ready to go in the mornings. and that used to be fine because it was just the two of us. But then Ella came along.
Yep.
And like her mother likes to talk and is very verbal in the morning. And so I'm outnumbered. Well, I was outnumbered, and then Ethan came along. But like, even though he can't like talk yet, he's also very vocal. Like, and it's just like, I'm like down there trying to make Ella's lunch and get it packed, and I'm just like, there's so much noise happening right now, and I'm trying to, just at least put a smile. It's not. Honestly, it doesn't really bother me if it's happening. It only bothers me when I have to be involved, because
when you have to interact.
Yeah, like I love them all, but like I'm not. I got other stuff I got to do before my brain is ready to like. I want to put a pool in the backyard. Like you can't ask me that at 6 a.m. Like I'm not. It's
right.
Put a pool in the backyard. I'm still trying to figure out what I was dreaming about. Like so. Which we're not. That's not a real example of a conversation. We're not going to put a pool in the backyard or anything. Like, do you know what, like the response in the back of my head is, it's 6:15. Who gives a shit? Like, I don't say that, but that's how
we got all day to think about this.
That's how I feel. Oh, so I hopefully maybe Ethan will be more like me, and he and I can at least commiserate on like, the women in the household are quite noisy in the morning, but maybe he'll be like them and just be the same way. Dude, I gotta send you some videos because like he's been working on crawling for a good week, and like just over the weekend, dude, he's all over the place. I'm serious, man. Like, you take your eyes off him for like a minute, and you're like, oh, he's in a different room. I should probably go figure out what he's doing.
What he's up to.
Because, now that he can crawl, it's like anywhere Ella goes, he's like following her.
Oh, yeah.
He just wants to. Like, I have a feeling it won't be that long until he walks now because he sees her doing it all the time, and he just wants to keep up. So, yeah.
It's a matter of time he's going to be grabbing whole stuff, pulling himself up.
He's already doing that.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have a walker in no time.
Yeah. He'll like he'll crawl over the edge of the couch and pull himself up, or like in the mornings in our room, if I'm like getting dressed or whatever, and he's in there, he'll crawl over to my dresser and find the bottom drawer like pull knob, and he'll pull himself up on that, and tries to pull himself up on Lloyd, but then Lloyd doesn't really like being grabbed like that. So he like snaps at him and runs away. But anyway, all that to the biggest and most fun news of the podcast.
Is that me?
That's you, man.
Oh,
Mr. Overachiever.
Yeah, so let's get to that.
Yeah.
Get this in and out of the way. So haven't changed much of anything. Still staying the course as far as caloric deficit, and workout regimen has pretty much been the same. It's been on and off, on, off, on, off.
Yeah.
Like every other day or so.
Yeah.
And then I'll give myself a day, not to go hog wild, but I'll give myself a day to allow extension.
Sure.
Right. Now, I've yet to have a day to go over maintenance.
Okay.
I will say that.
In the entire 7 weeks we've been doing this, that's pretty good. You didn't go to Dandy Donuts.
I didn't go to Dandy Donuts. So after today will be day 58 of tracking for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So how I know that is because it tells me. Right?
That's awesome. Wow. We've been at this longer than I thought. Then.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been almost 2 months, I guess.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
So, and then the other thing I'm doing is, of course, like you suggested, and I find that it works best, is the calorie tracker thing I'm using is tracking my exercise, but it's just showing me my intake, and then it shows me a net after it deducts the exercise. So I'm not paying attention to that. I mean, I'll look at it, but I don't. Yeah. I look at how much intake. Right. So far I've not been over my maintenance, which I would say is now.
Yeah, it's probably a little less now.
It's a little less. So it was setting at like 2,300, right? 2,350, something like that. So I haven't been over that. And I've had a few days where I've had a pretty significant calorie deficit. Like last Friday, 1,100 calories total. Like,
oh my, dude.
Yeah, but it was not because I meant to do it. It just was. Yeah, it was situational.
Sure.
I had a gig Friday, and my plan was to have a bigger lunch and then take a protein shake for dinner. Yeah, because gigging, gigging. Right. But what happened was I missed the lunch.
Whoops.
So I didn't get the stuff I thought I was going to have for lunch. So it just happened the way it happened. It was not planned.
RCXD ready for lunch.
RCXD ready for lunch. So anyway, but our goal, reminder was to be 215 by the 1st of June.
June 1st, which I guess I still have a chance to hit that.
You sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yesterday, was it yesterday I weighed in?
Yeah. I think that's when you texted me.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Sunday. Was it yesterday? Okay.
Or was it yesterday? I'm checking.
Well, either way.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday. It was Sunday the 16th.
Yeah.
I weighed in at 211.6.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
So I have completely annihilated the 215 goal.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Ultimately, I, like you, think maybe 205, 210-ish.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
I think you could definitely hit 205 in the next couple weeks.
Oh my God.
Before June 1st.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true, right? That's only 5-ish pounds.
Yeah.
I could probably pull that off.
Easily.
I could probably get that done. 205. That blows my mind right now.
Dude, I think
my mind.
I think you could hit 200 by July.
Well, right now it says on my thing, at the rate I am going, I will hit 200 because that's why I have it set to.
Yeah, yeah.
By June 28th.
Well, there you go. Yeah, man. Can you imagine that?
No.
June 28th, you're going to hit 200. All right. No, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, man.
No.
I
I don't know if
I bet I could hit 208 by June 28th.
208.
208 by June 28th.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
No, say it, baby.
Okay. I'm staying the course as far as nothing too extreme or whatever.
Right.
And and my objective, my chest has always been small. Like,
Sure.
I haven't like had a very muscular chest.
That's like an area that you're trying to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like the stomach stuff for sure. Like,
Yeah.
Get rid of
but
that.
have you noticed that? I mean, do you feel like that area is smaller?
oh, dude,
Yeah.
I am swimming in some of my shirts.
Yeah. See, that's such a good feeling, man.
Like I put on a black Fender shirt that I've had for 4 years,
Yeah.
and it's always been kind of, not tight, but
Yeah. Yeah.
man, I put it on last week, and I was like, do I have 2 of these shirts? I
Right.
thought maybe I had another, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't think. And I had Andrew read the tag, and I was like, what size? She goes, that's a large. I'm like, and I said, look, and I backed up, and she goes, oh my God, because the shirt was just like so loose around my
Yeah.
stomach.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, and then my jackets.
Yeah.
It's been pretty. I've had to 2-notch my belt.
Really?
Like, yeah, 2 notches.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my pants are loose, so I'm wearing 34s, but I probably could easily do 33. But
Yeah.
I don't know about 32 exactly. But
Right.
if I get down to 205,
Yeah. If you get
I
down to
might be-
200, you'll be a 32. I mean,
Yeah, I'll
if
be-
you lose it the right way, which it sounds like you are. So,
that's what I used to wear was 32 34s.
yeah.
That's used to be what.
Man, that's such a weird thing to me. Like, I've never had a waist. Like, it's how it should be, but I've never had a waist that's less than the length. Like, I'm just happy to be 34 34s. I mean, I'm sure I did at some point, but like from as far back as I can remember, my waist was always a bigger number than the length.
I'm glad to be at 34 and loose because
Yeah.
my pants the pants I've had at 34 have been getting tighter,
Sure.
which is another indicator. And
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. So I dropped I made it. I'm very happy
Yeah, that's
with
awesome, man.
myself.
And let me ask you this, like, I mean, neither of us really have, but like, you just said like you haven't done anything super extreme. Like, you feel like this is just I mean, obviously you don't want to eat 1,100 calories every day, but
no.
you feel that like you could just live like how you are. It'd be really
Okay.
easy to maintain. It's not like you did a whole bunch and you're going to get down there and then be like, well, I can't just eat 560 calories every day. I got to eat more than that. Like,
Yeah.
well, I'm asking you honestly.
Yes. So, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. So, for the first 2-3 weeks, it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Getting my body to adapt and accept the new way.
Right.
So I've had a couple instances where I'm like, you know what? I've had I had a really light breakfast today, and I had, only about 350 calories for lunch. I can actually do like 1,000 calorie dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Now I'd be kind of excited about that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to have a double of whatever.
Sure.
If you're having chicken breast, I'm going to have that and a half.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a little extra vegetables, and then I'll have a little extra this. Not anything crazy,
Sure.
but extra.
Yeah.
Dude, after I eat it, I wish I didn't.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
Well, your stomach's shrunk. So
It's too heavy. It's too
Yeah.
much. And it wasn't that good. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
that pleasurable.
Yeah.
The idea of it was much, much more enjoyable than actually consuming that much.
It's like those.
So-
It's like those donuts I had. At least you were overdoing it on vegetables and protein.
Yeah,
Not just fat and sugar.
So that's so that changed my like I've had that happen a couple times. It's been enough for me to go, yeah, eyes are bigger than the stomach, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I like the thought of me having more than my normal portion,
Right.
but I've done that, and I know it's not going to be that enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm going to enjoy my portion size I have,
Yeah.
and maybe I'll just eat it a little slower, you know?
Yeah.
And then whenever I do that, I feel like I've had enough food, but then I'm rewarded because I know that I have kept my calorie count down.
Yeah.
So with the donut thing, like I've been freaking thinking about like these particular donuts down the street from my house.
Okay.
The place is called Rolls by the Pound, and they make these fantastic homemade donuts, and they're so freaking good. You know, they have a low-calorie donut available there. It's like a regular-sized donut with icing and topping and all that stuff. 150 calories.
I'm sure it tastes like shit. If I'm gonna have a donut, I'm just gonna go for it. But
It's got whey protein and
oh well, that's cool.
yeah. I mean, it's they're power donuts or whatever, but they're made specifically for, you know, people being very cautious. And from what I've heard from people that've had them, they said they're delicious. The only problem is they have soy protein in them, so I can't.
Oh, you can't really do that.
I can't. But I was really interested.
Well,
in
the
trying
next
them.
time I'm up at your house, which I've never been to your house.
We'll let you.
Yeah,
we'll let you.
I'll try one or
Yeah,
7. Oh, 150 calories. I can have 7 of these.
I have 7 of those. So
Goodbye dinner.
But like about the donut thing, if I've been craving a Long John, I'll just go get. I'm okay with one.
Yeah. Right.
Because
right.
I know because of portions, because of how things have changed with my body. If I get 2 or 3 of them, I'm not going to be happy about that. Like I'm going to be sick, you know.
And that's how I should have been in Florida. I should have picked like the one donut that I'm like, okay, which one of these looks like the one you really have to try? Get that donut, then eat your omelet and all the actual real food, and then just be fine with it.
Yeah.
Not, yeah, whatever. I was definitely not happy with myself at all, but
I've had a couple
I got a question.
times where that happened, and I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Especially the thing where you mentioned about the day after, the lethargy, and not feeling well. Lethargy. Did I say that? It sounded weird. Anyway, being lethargic.
Lethargy.
Lethargy.
Yeah, that's lethargy. That's how you say it. If that is a word, that's how you say it. I
think I've heard it said that way. Anyway, but ice cream, like too late. That's the key, right?
Oh,
that
having
really
it too
is.
late?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you eat and then you just can't really go do go to bed.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's
But what
also
were you
just
saying?
not like great for you. But yeah, like
right.
I think I for me personally, eating anything at too late at night, even if it's like quote unquote like something good for you, I don't like it because it keeps me up. Like I can't fall asleep.
It's that energy to burn, man.
And your stomach's like trying to digest it and whatever.
Yep.
It's like, no, man. Which I know some people are opposite. Some people are like, they like some carbs before they go to bed because it helps them sleep. I am not that way. That's the other thing I've been doing is I've gone back to after dinner, I pop a piece of gum in.
Oh, I just started doing that
or I brush my teeth or I do both. But yeah, like, because there are times where like, oh man, I do still feel kind of hungry. And whether I genuinely feel hungry or I just mentally think I'm hungry, either way, I don't want to give in to that. Like, it's okay sometimes, even if you are hungry, like genuinely hungry, it's okay to go to bed hungry. Like, you're not going to die in your sleep.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's okay. And sometimes it's funny how nights that I'll do that where I'm like, I do feel like, man, I could eat something else. Like, I'm pretty hungry. When I go to bed, it's funny how in the next morning, I feel really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, your body it's like, okay, I'm ready to wake up and get something to eat and get going.
Yeah. So, I have a question for you. Totally.
Yeah.
Coming back to donuts. When you say Long John.
Yeah.
Because this is a regional thing I've noticed.
Okay.
When you say Long John, what is that? What does that mean for you? What kind of donut is that?
Okay, it's the longer
Yep.
donuts.
Yep.
And it has icing on the top.
Yep.
And it's cream. And it's got like whipped cream or
Yes.
you know that type
Okay.
of thing filling.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So like I grew up calling those a cream stick.
Yes, they're also yes. Okay.
Okay.
Cream
Because like
stick, yeah.
Bueller's in Coshocton used to have some kick-ass cream sticks.
Oh boy, did they!
Yeah. Okay. Because down here, a Long John is the exact same thing we just described, but it is not filled. It's just that kind of donut with like icing on top.
Yeah, that's right.
But
With
then
nothing in it.
then they have some that are filled, but there are two kinds down here. The kind I like is the kind you just described, where it's just like the icing that's filling it.
Yeah.
But then there's like more of like an eclair that has like the custard
Oh yeah.
filling,
Yeah.
which I'm not a fan of.
You don't like that?
Not as much. It's too heavy.
It is. It's pudding in a donut.
Yeah, like I like it with just like the white cream in there. Like man,
Fluffy, creamy. Oh my god, it's so.
let's quit talking
so
about it.
good.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
I'm gonna have to wheel over there and get me a
Yeah.
donut.
Maybe you should walk.
I don't know if I
just
can
walk
today.
over there.
I don't know if I should.
Then you can.
Yeah, I
then you
should
can burn
walk
it
over.
off.
That's true. I don't know if I should do that today though.
No,
I
man.
had some ice cream yesterday. so.
And you've been on a good 3-week streak of like really wanting it and not having it. That's mad self-control. I would have given in 2 weeks ago. if I would have gone a week really craving a donut and it hadn't gone away, I would have had one already. I mean, I had 7, so and I didn't even have a donut craving. I will say, like, that's one thing I should be better about. And remember how I told you early on when I first started this and we were on the road and like I would go with the guys to a donut place or a local bakery and I would smell it all and I would look at it, but I wouldn't order anything. Like I had mad self-control and I was really in the zone then. I should really know. I either need to get myself back to that point or I should just know not to go, because donuts are like, it's like the same level as drums for me, except donuts cost nothing compared to drums. So when I go into a donut shop, especially if it's like a good one, it's hard for me to just get one because I'm like, well, they got all these like cool flavors or like that, you know, the somebody outside said they do this one really well. And then somebody says, and so I can't just get one. I go like, oh, I'll have that. I want to try that one. That one looks good. I want to try that one. And before you know it, I got a half dozen in a box, you know, like if that's how it is with like snare drums or something. It's just that I can't afford to buy 7 snare drums when I go into a drum shop. But it's the same kind of like triggering thing of like, oh, I really like that one. Well, let's try that one too. Oh, they say that one's good. Yeah, well, and this lady, she owns the place and she said that's the best one. They do. Well, all right, give me those 4. And then they always give you the thing of like, well, if you get 2 more, it's cheaper than if you get a half dozen, it's cheaper than 4. All right, well, what are they? And before you know it, you have a half dozen donuts and you're like, I didn't even want one. Like I should have just not, if I wouldn't have come in here and seen it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. It's like, I'm not like that with any other kind of food, really. Like, I can go into another restaurant and I don't want to try everything on the fucking menu, you know, like, but for whatever, it's because they're cheap and you like, well, that one, that's a Reese's donut. It's going to be chocolate peanut butter. And well, that blueberry crunch looks really good. And all the apple fritters are supposed to be amazing. And like, you know what I mean? Like I can't just go, all right, give me one. Cause then I feel like I'm missing an opportunity. Like I might never be, it's the exact same thing I said of like, you go into some city and some donut place you might never get to go to again. And I didn't listen to my own self and just be like, they're just donuts. Like,
yeah.
Donuts, even really good donuts at the end of the day are just donuts. Like
just
what
donuts.
are you, you're not really missing that much. You're missing a bunch of sugar and fat. Like, just get an omelet and drink some water. Like, man, you'll feel so much better. And I would have too, but
yeah,
I caved. Hey, I'm not perfect.
Yeah, none of us are.
So
None of us are, man.
should we wrap this shit up?
Yeah,
All right.
I've got 3 really interesting things. 2 short ones. Well,
I've
got
got the best.
Oh, you've
one,
got
so
one too, right?
I'll go last. Mine is the best one.
Oh, awesome, good. So the first 2 are they're all kind of related to health. Good. Yeah. Our brains want us to be lazy.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
interesting. Yeah. Regular exercise helps boost the immune system, which I think a lot of people know this,
Yes.
but just another one there. Here's an interesting one. I think Ramirez's dad did something similar to this for a longest time, and it kept him from getting sick for years.
Okay.
Mix a quarter cup of vinegar, honey, and take 1 tablespoon 6 times a day to kill bacteria in your sore throat.
Interesting. That would be a hard one for me because I'm not a big fan of vinegar. If the taste of it is really obvious, but
yeah, I don't like it either, but pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, what's your big one?
All right.
I'm gonna look at you.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Did you know?
I didn't.
Very good. Did you know that the sentence, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," contains every letter of the English alphabet?
Wow, that's a good share.
Yeah, it is a good share. You're welcome.
Hey, thanks for listening or watching the Good Share podcast. Hey, Ice, tell them what they can do.
Well, if you're enjoying the show, please take a minute and like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. And don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss an episode.
That's right. And if you want to know more, go to the Good Share podcast.
.com. Say hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.